The Committee on the Exercise of the Inalienable Rights of the Palestinian People rejects linking the origin of the current crisis solely to the abhorrent attacks of 7 October 2023 inside Israel. The historical context, spanning over 76 years on the UN agenda, helps to understand the illegal Israeli occupation of the Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem, decades of documented human rights violation, grave breaches of international humanitarian law, and 17 years of blockade of the Gaza Strip. Addressing such issues is essential for a just and lasting solution to the question of Palestine, including the current catastrophic crisis in Gaza. Our committee welcomed the Security Council's belated adoption of Resolution 2728/2024, demanding an immediate ceasefire during the month of Ramadan, leading to a lasting, sustainable ceasefire. However, the committee deeply regrets that the resolution was not implemented. Ramadan is over, and thousands of Palestinian civilians continue to be killed and maimed. This must stop. Israel's war in Gaza has resulted in high civilian death among Palestinians, extensive displacement, denial of food and medicine as a weapon, plausible genocide, and consistent violations of international law, including disregarding ICJ orders. Blatant disrespect for international law undermines the UN and its authority, eroding the multilateral system and the Council's standing. In 6 months of this horrific war, the occupying powers' military operations have killed over 33,000 Palestinians and injured over 76,000, mostly women and children. Deliberate obstruction of humanitarian aid has plunged 1.1 million civilians into starvation, disease, and death. Gaza is today a victim of an openly admitted human-made famine. At the same time, Israel's occupying forces and Arab settlers continue to inflict violence and dispossession of the Palestinian population in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem. Since the start of 2024, according to the Israeli organization Peace Now, Israel's confiscation of Palestinian land and settlement expansion has grown massively compared to previous years. Israel's illegal settlement activities and its illegal occupation must stop. The committee commends the UN, member states, and NGOs for aid efforts in Gaza, while condemning Israel's deliberate attacks on humanitarian workers and infrastructure. We note that the disparity in attention devoted to these incidents, including the killing of 178 UNRWA and other staff, and the equally horrendous World Central Kitchen staff tragedy. We continue to demand unrestricted humanitarian access in Gaza. We also demand a stop to the targeting of journalists. Over 150 of them have been killed in Israeli attacks. Moreover, the international press must be allowed access to Gaza. The committee strongly denounces Israel's persistent efforts to undermine UNRWA, the only entity with the capacity to address the needs of civilians in Gaza. The committee opposes any attempts to shift the status of Palestinian refugees as per GA Resolution 194 of 1948. We must not let UNRWA collapse as the ramifications go beyond mere humanitarian concerns. It would threaten to ignite new flames of tension and conflict in an already volatile region. The committee urges donors to promptly resume funding UNRWA and to support the full implementation of its GA mandate. The committee welcomes the UN Human Rights Council resolutions of 5th April, urging, among other measures, to prevent forced transfers of Palestinians and halt arms sales to Israel. We acknowledge efforts by Egypt, Qatar, and the US towards achieving a permanent and sustainable ceasefire and the release of all hostages and hope for an agreement. We must strive for peace in Gaza to prevent escalating conflicts that threaten global security. The committee urgently calls for an immediate halt to Israel-Iran escalation, emphasizing adherence by all to the UN Charter's principles. The committee urges the Security Council and member states to support the States of Palestine's application for UN membership. This crucial step will support the right of the Palestinian people to self-determination and the realization of the two-state solution. We salute the ongoing efforts of the EU countries planning to join the 140 member states who already recognize the state of Palestine. We welcome the appointment of a new prime minister in Palestine to lead the government to help streamline recovery and reconstruction efforts. I conclude with a plea to all member states, including council members, to heed the calls of the GA, as well as civil society, civil servants, and citizens throughout the world who are clamoring daily for an end to the carnage in Gaza, accountability for egregious crimes committed by all parties, and for vigorous efforts to achieve a just, lasting solution to the question of Palestine. I thank you.